internet. So it is an interface basically which is linked with your online system, and from online they get information and take the data directly. So plug and play interfaces support basically plug and play architecture as in Java. How do we represent an interface in UML? This is the method because interfaces are also a kind of classes. We can create their object and so on. So this is our interface. What is packages, in which we can create a different type of classes. We can create a groups. We can create an object, many objects into the same package so that it can be used further. For example, package is nothing. It is a kind of your library which you have to create. So you have to create means you can create your own packages in Java. You can create your own libraries in C, C++. So these are the things where you can collect according to your requirement. You can create your own libraries in C, C++ by creating some library .adder file. You can create your own packages of your requirement as you go in industry, and you create all the complete data according to that university. You will create a package and then you will give it to your subordinates for reuse it. So again and again it is basically for preventing us for rewriting the same things again and again. Now what is component? Sorry, what is subsystem? Subsystem is a as I had shown you a image where is a modules, different modules. So to create a complete system, we have different subsystems or sub modules which will be clubbed and create a single module or single project. What is component and how we represent it in UML? This is source file. Component is nothing. It is a small module which is used for the purpose of reutilization of your code, which is already you write one time. So this is a component. Different components can be clubbed to create an object. Source file name, if you want to represent a component in UML diagram, it will be like this only, rectangle with small rectangles in which you have to write source file name. You can write executable file names. You can write a DLL file name, which are the actually components. So we will discuss this component in detail when we will discuss the component diagram of UML. So I will give some examples, live examples, how we have to create a component, how we have to create an object diagram, how we create a use case diagram in UML, and so on. And if you are talking about the subsystem and component, then subsystem will be represented in the form of this, and the component is this. So component subsystem name, subsystem as well as the component name will come, and this rectangular box will come here. And this component interface by which it is related. So this is subsystem component name, and here you have to represent component whose part is this. So I suppose it's already time over, 11:40. So I think it is stop recording. No, it is going on. So we can discuss. What is an association? The semantic relationship between two or more classifiers that specify connection among their instances is called as association. A structural relationship specifies that object of one thing that are things are connected to the objects of another. Example is entity, student, entity, schedule. There is a relationship. I think you people can actually relate it with the ER diagram. So this is a ER diagram type of thing in which we have different entities and they have some relationship. So student, that's all about from my side. I'm stop recording, stopping slides. I suppose this we had already covered. I'm going through it like we had discussed object, different type of states and behavior of an object. Objects, different states, we had seen it with the help of pictorial representation. Then you have an object has unique identity. We had seen the how we can represent object in UML diagram. So this is an example named object in which we are giving name to an object and another is an unnamed object. We had already discussed it. Basic principle we had studied, like we had studied abstraction, encapsulation, modeling, hierarchy, and so. What is abstraction? We had studied this abstraction. Then we had seen the example of abstraction as we had already discussed. What is abstraction actually? The abstraction is the hidden part. We had also given, I had also given an example of C and C++ library files, which you people know that we include library file in our programs. Although we don't know how the process is working behind, but we use it. For example, C in and C out, that I had already given an example. Encapsulation is the wrapping of the data hidden part as well as the operational part of any object is called as encapsulation. So that you people knows. Modularity, I told you people what is modularity, why we create module, because the complex task cannot be complete in one shot. So we divide the complete task into small modules so that it can be lesser complex as well as it can be easily solved by the persons. Then we had discussed hierarchy. Hierarchy means that if we will use the top-down approach, then it will decrease abstraction, means the hidden part is be unfolded. And if we will go bottom up, then it will definitely in wrapping the things into a wrapper. So for example, asset, if you are talking about the asset of a person, so asset means it can be anything. It can be bank account, it can be security, it can be real estate. Further, if you will down, you will ask the same person, what is bank account? So he can ask that it is saving account, checking account, or current account, whatever. If you talk about the security, then it will be like stock or bond. So it is a top-down approach, asset to bond, stock, or lower level of hierarchy. Then we had discussed the class, as we had seen that this system analysis and designing is having a major part for data flow diagram, which we had already discussed in the classroom. Further, I will also discuss the same thing again in further classes. So DFD means the data flow diagram, which in which the data is flowing from one place to another place in a system. You had discussed and we are discussed ER diagram also, that is entity relationship diagram. These all are the part of system analysis and designing, but your fifth unit is asking for the object oriented modeling. And for object oriented modeling, it is compulsory that you have to you must have a knowledge of UML. UML means unified modeling language, in which we have to design the entities in the form of objects, and we design the classes. So the all classes belong, all objects belongs to a particular class. So that's type of relationship we will study it into the EML diagram, EML language, means UML language, unified modular language, which we will discuss further into the same lecture. So I told you the representation of classes in UML, how we represent our classes in UML diagrams. This is a class name, professor. This is its attribute, which everybody knows. You people already studied C++ and Java, in which you create classes. In all classes, you have this attributes, which are the variables, you can say. And these are the methods which shows the behavior of a particular class object. So the class, all the objects of the professor class will carry all these properties, and the behavior can be changed. So the behavior means the functionality of these function can be changed object wise. So there is a relationship between the classes and object, because each object is an instance of a class, that you know. So what is attribute? Which shows its property. What is operation? Which we had already seen, that it is the operation which are going to perform by a entity, means a student is a class. So as you people are the student, so every student is having their own method of studying. Suppose you people are, if you are a um, student class object, then all the properties will be common for all of you. But some people will get tuition, some people will prepare yourself, and many more things can be there. So, so this is a way in which the behavior or operations of a student can be differ, but the attribute or properties will be remain same. As we had discussed with the polymorphism also, in which poly means many, morph means form. It is an Italian word, polymorph. Poly means many, morph means form. One thing is having different forms, then it is called as a polymorphism. So in this figure, we had seen there are different type of screens manufactured by A company, B company, and C company, but these all machines are operable using a single remote control. So this remote is basically showing the polymorphism. So interface we had discussed, as you people studied in Java. Interface is a class whose instance you can create and which is used to multiple inheritance implementation in Java. As we know, Java doesn't support multiple inheritance usually, but with the help of interface we can implement multiple inheritance in Java also. So interface is a class. Let's suppose shape is a class. Shape is a class, as is seen here. It is an interface. Interface is also a class, and it is having different methods. So you can create different types of shapes using this class. So you can you can create a tube. So you have to draw a tube, move a tube, scale a tube, and rotate a tube. You can create a pyramid, you can create a cube, and so on. So interface can be used for like polymorphism, or you can say it is used for implementing the multiple inheritance, or it shows the polymorphism. As the shape class can be inherited to the tube class, it can be inherited to the pyramid class, it can be inherited to the cube class. As you are seeing that these are the further classes, and this is your interface. So interface shape is basically having a relationship, realization relationship. The tube is of course an object of shape, or inherit the properties of the shape interface. Pyramid also inherit the property of shape interface, and cube also having a property or inherit a property of your interface shape. Now, what is a package? We discussed it yesterday also. A package are nothing. These are the user-defined classes and collection of user-defined classes and the methods which anybody can use further. Subsystem, sub-packages. If a single package can have different sub-packages, as you see that you have a folder, a subfolder, and then subfolder, and so on. In the same manner, we can create the packages and sub-packages also. Component. So see, we will discuss about the component in detail now. So what is component? As you people see, that components are the actually the unit or modules which can independently work. If you people had used the component as a DLL file, so, or executable file, these all are called as a component. So a component may be a source code component, as it is showing here. So in UML, we will represent it in the form of this, and a runtime component, that is executable file. So it will be shown like this, and the executable component, a runtime component. This is a runtime component, DLL, and executable is the executable component. So runtime component will always be represented like this in your UML diagrams. Subsystem and components, as we discussed the packages and subsystems. As you are seeing, this is a symbol of our subsystem or subpackage. So we can show it like this: component interface and then subcomponent. So this is a component to which this subcomponent belongs. So there are the component interface and component name. This is component interface which is having a subsystem also. Now what is the association? Association means what? It is a relationship between two and more things. So the semantic relationship between two or more classifiers that